This journal is your guide on how to make sure you actually reach your goals in 2026. Let's talk about our 2026 life journal. This is like actually like my holy place right now. This is my holy book. This is my 2026 Bible. Let's take a quick look on what I have in here and how I have it set up. And I'm gonna be honest, this is kind of a work in progress. The idea would be like each month to break down like my monthly goal section and my monthly reflection in this page. Any like reset lists or things like that, they'd all go into here. And like the idea is that everything I write in here kind of relates back to my overall yearly goals. First page we have is our 2026 goals. So here is my first time I've actually saying these out loud. I'm really excited. My 2025 was a little rough in terms of like identity wise. I feel like this year I really figured out who I was as a person. I really figured out like what I actually want to pursue. Someone who had like a pretty solid Rory Gilmore arc where like I was so ambitious all through high school. I knew exactly what I wanted. I knew exactly how I was gonna get it, to just then get to college, realize I have so many options, and I was just burnt out. I really had this moment. I didn't steal a yacht or anything, but I had this moment where I was just straight up kind of like, do I actually want to do what I think I wanted to do? This year I discovered, yes, all the things I wanted to do in high school, I was right about, and I feel really confident in that. But there was a lot of self-discovery. There was a lot of journey in that this year. So 2025 was a little rough, honestly. I feel like I wasn't super disciplined, but that's because truly I didn't know what I was working for. All of the goals I had in the beginning of the year are still things that I wanted to get done and want to get done, but they were more just like smaller things that I can kind of do at honestly any point in my life, and I wasn't feeling like super aligned to them. I didn't feel super aligned. I didn't have like a solid purpose. I didn't have a solid why behind like anything. This year I'm really excited. I'm really excited to get into my 2026 goals because I feel really excited, really motivated, and very aligned with all of these. So let's get into my word of the year. My word of the year is self-love. It's not so much about like a confidence boost for me. This is like self-love in the terms of like, I need to be disciplined. I need to reach these goals because these goals all help me. And it's like a deeper way to prove like I love myself. Like I am so grateful for this body that I'm in. I'm grateful for who I am. I'm grateful for where I'm at. But for so long, I feel like I've just been like almost taking advantage of all those things. Like, yeah, I'm recognizing them. I'm grateful for them. But I have so many things that I've always wanted. And I just kind of like have zero discipline. Like I lack discipline. Like I'll lack discipline in certain areas of my life, and I don't want that anymore. So this is like self-love in terms of discipline. That is the idea. That is my word of the year. If I can be disciplined, it proves that I am grateful for these things that I have, and I am not taking advantage of them, and I am like living to my fullest potential. I broke these down into sections. The first one is health. My first health goal is to gain 5 pounds. I'm not gonna go too much into this because I know like food and weight can be triggering for some people, but for me, I do have a stomach disease. I have gastritis, and I've had it for way longer than we knew. Like way longer. I've had it since I was a kid, which is actually not super typical. So gaining weight for me is difficult, but it's really important that I do just to keep me healthy. But I need to gain weight because, once again, relating it back to self-love, relating it back to my why, which is why I think you should do your word of the year first. That is my first tip here. So for this is once again, like, I'm grateful for myself. I'm grateful for the life that I live and the body that I'm in. I'm so lucky to have a healthy body. Why am I taking advantage of having a healthy body and filling it with junk and not focusing on like specific weight goals that my doctor has given me? Why am I just allowing myself to like sit and let the health that I have now, because I'm young, kind of rot away and not keep up with it? Like, why am I doing that? I don't like that. This kind of goes into my second goal of the year because it'll be something later on. I want to run a 5K. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of just want to prove that I could do this. 3-mile run. I could prove to myself that I could do that by the end of the year, but I need to gain weight to get to that point. That is important. Then for career, I do have a subscriber goal that I am going to keep private, mainly because I'm sure you guys have noticed I am kind of shifting my content. So I'm not 100% certain I'll hit this. I might hit this and surpass it. Maybe like this shift is going to be better. I might lose a bunch, which I'm kind of anticipating. If that's you, no hard feelings here, you know. I'm assuming I'm gonna have kind of a dip in viewership. Maybe not, maybe I won't, but I'm hoping by the end of the year that like the change in content can kind of shift up to bring me back up to a consistent audience. If you're someone who has been here from the beginning and you're still here and you're gonna say, thank you so much. I appreciate the support and I appreciate you being here. I'm just kind of shifting away from books a little bit. That's not to say that will never be books in my videos. There definitely will be. That's still a very big part of my life. It's just I can't sustain it anymore. I cannot sit and read as much as I used to because of school and work and doing everything at the same time. I had another video where I kind of explained all of this and I went really into detail, but I didn't end up posting it. If anyone's ever curious, like feel free to ask me in the comments. I understand like if the content change is not for you and you unsubscribe, like there's really like that's okay, but I am anticipating kind of like a dip and then a rise, maybe like a small dip and a big rise. I don't know, maybe it'll just be like kind of consistent like it was this last year. That's okay. I post on YouTube because it is fun for me. I would love to make this like more of a second income stream, but that's like never been my goal. Like I just like to talk. If you're new here and you want to subscribe, you might as well. Lots of lifestyle and productivity and wellness content on the rise. It is coming, that's for sure. The next career goal has more to do with my 9-to-5 that I love. I'm so lucky to love my 9-to-5, and this is what I mean. Like I don't want to waste that luck and that like gratitude that I have to work somewhere every day that I love. That is teaching. I would love to pass my ed TPAs this year, which is a very hard test. Then I also have a TikTok goal, which I will not be saying, but I feel actually pretty confident about. I feel like my TikTok, I found like the real groove with it, and I feel like I've been consistently growing. So if you want to follow that, that's down below too. All my content is pretty similar to my content on here. Then for personal, I actually have a overarching goal that I'm not checking as like a check off this goal. I will know if I did this goal by my other goals that I can check off. It is not a super actionable goal, but I made it actionable by adding like smaller goals underneath. And that is live with intention. I really feel like I lived this last year on autopilot. Once again, just reflecting on everything I said, I genuinely did live this year on autopilot, and I don't like that. Like I don't like doing that. So the way that I want to live with more intention, my big 3 goals for personal are stop doom scrolling. I want to get so good at it that like I just never doom scroll at all ever. I would love to invest my money in travel, which is technically a financial goal, but I put it under personal because like other financial goals will kind of go into that too. But this is like more personal. Like I want to make sure that I am traveling and seeing the world while I can. I'm like in the perfect position where I have the money to do so now, and I don't have kids. So like now is the time to take advantage of that and travel. And then I want to try at least 3 new hobbies. I would love to try at least 3 new hobbies. One of them is going to be journaling, which I've always loved and I'm gonna get more into in other videos you will see coming up. I've always kept journals. Oh my gosh, I had a bullet journal in 2017. If you guys remember like bullet journaling, I honestly thought about picking back up bullet journaling because I really liked it. I've always been super into it. I've always like loved being creative, and I just like kind of fell off of it. And I always have a commonplace journal. Like every year I have a journal that I fill up, whether it's just with my thoughts or my goals or checklists, things like that. But I want to be more organized and intentional and like a little more creative and artistic with my journaling this year too. Hence the 2026 journal. I'm not saying it's gonna be like the best art you've ever seen. I cannot draw and my hand is pretty shaky, but it's something for me, and that's like what's important. So I would love to try at least 3 new hobbies. I kind of already know the 3 that I'm going for. Journaling's the big one though. I'll talk about that in other videos too. I have a lot of fun content coming up. I'm excited personally. Financial goals, I would love to pay off $10,000 of my student loans because I have quite a bit, and the more I can pay off while they're in forbearance, the better. If I can pay off more, my God, I'll be paying off more. But like overall, I did the math. I feel like this is the most realistic number where it's still kind of a reach. Like I still have to kind of be strict with it. And then I have intentional spending only. So something I'm doing in the new year is I'm not buying anything. And I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna buy anything ever. Like if I need a new pair of jeans, I'm gonna go out and buy a pair of jeans. But the goal is like to not just like spend spend like a bunch on one big shopping haul. Like I don't want to be doing that. I feel like I got everything I needed. I feel like I want to do like a whole like no buy, low buy list for 2026. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. I don't know like how many people will be, so if not, then I won't do the video. And then I would like to just save $5,000 as just like a little savings goal for emergencies or anything I might need it for, car stuff, things like that. Those are my 2026 goals. I'm gonna flip through this journal so you can kind of have an idea of like what I'm doing with each of these pages. The first one is a quarterly focus page where you choose from your yearly goals and you put them into when you're focusing on what in each quarter. So like for example, in quarter 1, I'm focusing on gaining 5 pounds. I'm also focusing on that in quarter 3 because is it realistic to gain 5 pounds in 3 months? Not really. So like I'll technically focus on this until like quarter 3, but then by quarter 4, this sets me up to then run a 5K, which is a focus in quarter 4. Quarter 1, I have focus on hitting my subscriber goal. Will I hit my subscriber goal in quarter 1? Probably not, but will I focus on it and like really push out good content? Yes, I will. I then have my monthly goals, and I did something crazy. If you guys have seen my monthly resets, you know I typically make monthly goals before the month starts. But I made all my monthly goals for the entire year so far. The thing about this is that this is completely customizable. Like I said, for the rest of this journal, I think I'm gonna focus on having it like reflection for each month and goals for each month. So I will be able to refine these if I like mark something off that I put for February and January. I don't have to put that like when I make the new spread. I have something to add that's like more specific to that month. Like I've had a monthly goal of like buying a bridesmaid dress before, getting it tailored. Like that was specific to that month. I can add that in still. This is still very customizable. But I made my monthly goals based on quarters. So here's quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. I went through my yearly goals here, split up in my quarterly focus. I looked at my yearly goals. That is how I planned my goals for each month. So for example, once again, my quarterly goal for quarter 1 is gain 5 pounds. So for January, what's an actionable step to that? Meal planning each day, tracking my meals and calories, and at least 1 whole meal a day. Because this is something I'm going to build up throughout the rest of the year. I'll have like 2 whole meals a day, a whole meal and a whole snack a day, things like that. I also have in my quarter 1 focus, stop doom scrolling. So something that relates to that is blocking TikTok to 5 opens for 15 minutes each day. Our quarter 2 goals, our quarter 3 goals, and our quarter 4 goals, all based off of like what goals I put in the quarterly focus section. After all my monthly goals, which you're going to have to wait for my monthly resets to like get like an in-depth version of those, I have my daily habits section. So for daily habits, I would recommend putting things that once again relate back to your yearly goals. These shouldn't be habits like wash my face or brush my teeth every day, unless that's something you need to track. That's like no judgment here, I get it. But my point is these shouldn't be things that you already have the habit of doing. Once again, they relate back to our New Year's goals. My daily habits that I am doing to relate back to all the goals I said are tracking my meals, intentional eating, making sure that I'm eating like whole meal foods and a lot of calories, daily stretch, daily workout to eventually help with the 5K, no missed uploads, replying to all my comments, YouTube subscriber goal, 1 TikTok or more a day, and then taking photos and videos every day, which that will help with actually both YouTube and TikTok goals because I can post my TikToks as shorts on my YouTube. I just want to take more pictures and videos. I feel like I never have any, like you guys probably see the same thumbnail like 15 million times because like I never take pictures. Like why don't I take pictures of anything? I don't know. I want to study or do professional development daily for all the tests that I have to pass later on in the year. Less than 30 minutes on socials a day, which will help with the doom scrolling. I want to replace the urge to scroll. So what I mean by this is anytime I want to scroll, I want to intentionally sit there and be like, okay, what can I do that is not scrolling that will also like kind of fill my cup? That could be a hobby. That could be like literally watching a YouTube video. I'm not counting that as social media. That is just like my TV. I want to budget daily to help with all of my financial goals. Journaling daily. I would love to journal daily, but I have so many journals. You will see with my journal ecosystem. I'm very excited about it. This is like a very like intentional intentional new thing for me. I'll talk about it in my hobby video, don't worry. But I will have at least one journal to write in every single day, even if it's like different. So I want to journal daily and like really focus on making time for that. I want to schedule out each day. I'm pretty good about this, but I want to be better because I feel like anytime I have free time, I'm like, let me sit and go on Instagram, let me sit and go on TikTok. So scheduling out my day will keep me on track and off of my phone. And then I want to just make sure I'm doing my like weekly prep every week. And if you're like, what's your weekly prep? Don't I have the page for you? I told you, this is an in-depth, like we are getting our stuff done. So we have our monthly prep section. Monthly prep is pretty much my monthly reset. You guys see these videos, but this is like what I'm doing every month, and I have been doing every month, so I'm not like too worried about this. So my monthly prep to keep me on track is just monthly brain dump reflection, monthly goal reflection, deep clean, monthly calendar, so I have all my events and work days in check, monthly bucket list, monthly goals, and my monthly content planner. And within my content planner, that's like content plan, of course, like what videos I'm posting, when I'm filming them, when I'm editing them. I also want to track my followers and analytics, see like what people are liking and what people are enjoying, and kind of compare it to the content I enjoy so I can make something that everyone enjoys. My weekly prep is my Sunday reset, which a more in-depth video on this is coming out for 2026, so look forward to that. And then just my daily prep. These are things I do every day to like keep me on track for a good day. Planner and schedule the night before so I know exactly what I'm doing the next day. Morning and night routine, outfit plan. Want to budget every day. Like I said, that's part of my daily habits. Want to check off any quick ticks, which, oh my gosh, I cannot remember who said this, but there was someone who I was watching who called like any task that takes like under 15 minutes a quick tick. Make sure any task that I need to do that does not take me over 15 minutes is done, because the amount of times I've let something that is so small literally sit on my to-do list for like 6 months. And then meal prep the day before so I know what I'm eating, I know what I'm doing. Only the last 2 pages I have in this journal are my morning and night routine, and these are my morning and night routines for my ideal self, but I will be keeping these to me because I will have these videos coming out in February and I would like for you guys to see them then, but they all also relate back to my goals. This is like what I would recommend for you, making your morning and night routine, writing it down like this, keeping yourself accountable almost like it's a habit in itself in relation to your goals. Like, I'm not even saying you have to get up at 5 a.m. every day. If you have a job that like works at night or you work overnight and your goal is to like advance in that career, like why would I tell you to wake up at 5 a.m.? Focus it on your goals. That is so far my 2026 journal. When this is updated, you guys will see it in videos. Stick around because there'll be much more to talk about here. I'm feeling really good about my goals. I'm feeling very aligned. I'm feeling very excited. I feel ready, and I feel ready to take on 2026. I've never felt more prepared, honestly, because of this journal. I'm excited. I'm here for it.